The Civic Trust seeks to inform about the rich history of Doncaster's heritage, and its walks have gained a reputation for doing this, not just in Doncaster, but also in Tick Hill and Bawtry. With a history stretching back over 2,000 years, to fit all of Doncaster's history into one walk would be impossible. So the Trust walks are focused on specific themes, such as the one, Romans to Racing. The walks are informative, engaging, often anecdotal, and they also challenge some of the more established histories. The first part of the tour starts near the Minster, where there are visible remains of the Roman fort, built in AD 71, when it was at the edge of the empire. They begin by telling the story of how the Romans first came to Doncaster and why they believed that Doncaster was the first Roman town in Yorkshire before York. The Minster is steeped in history. A church is said to have been on this site since the 11th century, and we learn about its clock with no face and its link to Big Ben. Opposite the church is the Clergy House, a building acknowledged by the Civic Trust with a plaque, once the home of Dr. Miller, a prominent author about Doncaster's history. Making their way from the Minster, winding their way through the marketplace, a market is thought to have existed in Doncaster since Roman times. The walk threads through the historic Corn Exchange and Concert Hall, completed in 1873. The tour takes in the Red Lion, another link to the racing heritage of Doncaster, where the idea of Doncaster's famous St Leger race was probably formed. Walking down Scott Lane, Eric Brain, the author of many of the Trust's newsletters, reveals that it was the street where the market toll, or scot, was collected, and is mentioned as early as 1427. Onto the High Street, where the street's buildings span centuries, dating from the 16th through to the early 20th century, and of course, the Mansion House. Built in the mid-18th century on the site of a Carmelite priory and designed by architect James Payne, it is one of only 3 surviving mansion houses in the country. Standing on the old Great North Road, it was built by the corporation primarily for entertainment purposes and to promote the economy and social life of the town. Crossing from the High Street onto Hallgate, this street became home to many of the important people of the town. Many buildings, with a side entrance for servants and a much grander one for the lady and gentleman of the house, still bear witness to the concept of upstairs and downstairs. Leaving Hallgate, the walk leads on to South Parade. This route shows the houses that were built from late Georgian times onwards as the town expanded away from the centre. In marvelling at these buildings, we are reminded of 2 of the Civic Trust conservation battles, in stopping the destruction of South Parade and the turning of Regent Square into a car park. Passing through the Salutation Archway, once an important racing inn where many of the St Leger horses were stabled, and into the museum. The tour takes in some of the town's racing memorabilia, such as the Gold Cup, the first Doncaster racing trophy, and the stories about many of the St Leger winners, horses and jockeys. This experience brings home to people how much is left to explore and learn about the history of Doncaster in an interactive manner. What can be more interactive than standing in front of the Mansion House, being told its history by the tour guides?